have a sip of this. Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table. Sydney here, and we are going to continue on with our healthy living topic and meals, of course, because we always try to make healthy stuff. But today we are going to be making a couple different things. Last time we really were trying to focus on quick, easy meals because we're just getting into the new year. Maybe you're just getting started with trying to eat healthier and pay more attention to the foods you're choosing. And it can be tough because you feel like you have to make all this food all the time. And we don't necessarily have to do that. There's tons of ways we can make quick, easy meals. So we did that last time. This one, while it's still pretty quick and easy, it does require a little bit of prep work ahead of time. So this is another recipe from our Cooking Essentials program. This is the Southern Style Chicken and Vegetable Sheet Pan. And so very easy, you put it all in one pan. So it's very nice for cleanup, but the initial requires you to make it ahead of time and refrigerate it. So best if you can at least let it marinate for about an hour, but I went ahead and made this yesterday, threw it in the refrigerator so that it would be ready for us today and have plenty of that good flavor. So what I made for our marinade, it is a little bit of olive oil and water, some garlic powder, or you could do garlic cloves. I actually think I used a garlic paste that we just already had in the refrigerator here, some smoked paprika, chili powder, and then just a little bit of salt. So all of that is your marinade. And then you cut up sweet potatoes and one sweet potato and one red bell pepper, and then about 6 to 8 ounces of chicken. So this is a meal for two. So if you, are a small family, you're living by yourself, you're not trying to make a ton of food, this one is actually a really great one to make. The Cooking Essentials program in general was really made for college students, young adults, those who likely are living by themselves or living with a roommate, things like that. So it's not going to make a ton of food. But I mean, this is a pretty good meal, pretty substantial meal right here. So you let it marinate. You can see my chicken is cut up into about 2-inch thick cubes. We've got our sweet potatoes are cut up about a quarter of an inch, and then our red pepper is also cut up about a quarter to a half an inch. So that is your goal for this. That gadget that I used last time is great for getting those things uniform if you were trying to chop your vegetables to be the same size. So very simple, very easy. Throw it on your pan, and we're gonna let it roast for 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm gonna throw it in my oven. My oven is at 400 degrees. So we'll let that cook. While that is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and make our glaze. So we have a marinade and we have a glaze. Now, of course, with this, we did have a lot. I mean, it seems like it has a lot of ingredients, but most of this is stuff that hopefully you already have in your pantry. You might just have to pick up 1 or 2 things. The marinade has a lot of spices in it, and then just your oil and water. And then your glaze is just 4 ingredients. So we've got, I'll do each of these and tell y'all as I make it. This is what we'll pour over the top of our vegetables when they are all done. So we need 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, I'm sure you can use a red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. It's just not gonna have quite as much of that flavor. We are going to do 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. It's always a fun word to say. And then about a teaspoon of honey. This honey is, your honey gets a little bit older. Honey never goes bad, but it can begin to crystallize. You can set this in a hot cup of water, and it will actually help it to kind of break down and not be as crystallized. It'll start to melt it a little bit. So I'm just gonna eyeball about a teaspoon here. That looks pretty good. And then we have a teaspoon of Dijon. So I'm also gonna eyeball this one because this one's kind of hard to get out. You can always put oil in your measuring spoon before you add anything like the honey or the Dijon mustard. That way it'll come out easier, but I just try to use my eyes, it'll be fine. So this is our glaze. We're just gonna mix it up until it's really good and mixed well. That honey, like I said, it was crystallizing, so definitely would have been best to just sit it in some warm water so that it would melt, but it's mixing pretty good. Your acid from your vinegar will help to break down some of those sugars. So if you just continue stirring, you shouldn't have an issue. This doesn't make much. Sure, if you wanted a little extra glaze, you could just do a little bit extra of that recipe. So we'll let that finish cooking. When it gets all done, we will add in our glaze, but we're gonna take a quick break now before we head to our next station. Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our Southern style chicken in the oven. Our glaze is ready for when that comes out. So that'll be just a little bit. Your stuff needs to roast for about 30 to 35 minutes because we want to make sure it's really cooked through. And then we will actually even roast our vegetables even longer just to help give them a little bit more of that char. So we'll wait for that. While that's doing its thing, we are gonna work on some drinks. So another big part of trying to eat healthier, drink healthier, live healthier is trying to definitely up our water intake, but also maybe watch some of those sugar sweetened beverages. So a lot of things like our sodas, our teas, lemonade, things like that, we want to try to cut those back or restrict them. If we don't really like the word restrict, but not have them very frequently at all if possible. So I've got a couple things for you to try if you are really struggling with trying to get more water in or really avoid things like sodas and teas and stuff like that. So this first recipe, I do this a lot when I do booths at health fairs and stuff like that, is a cucumber citrus water. And I'm gonna show you a few tricks for this. So this requires 1 cucumber sliced. My trick for this is if you leave the peel on, the peel starts to really take over your water and give it a funky flavor. So the best thing is to actually peel this. Our recipe does not call for it to be peeled, but I really feel like it makes a difference, especially if this is something you want to make a big pitcher of water and just leave it in your fridge for a couple days. It'll start to taste kind of funny if you let it sit for that long of a time with the cucumber with the peel. So I have learned my lesson. This is definitely one you make ahead of time. So I've made it ahead of time and taken it to the health fair, and people are like, it's kind of got a funny flavor because it started to sit. So ideally you want this to sit for at least, I think at least an hour, if not longer. I like to let mine sit overnight, but when you get overnight, that's when all those flavors really start to infuse in the water, and that is when you run into the issue of it overtaking the flavor in your water. So we are just gonna slice these up. Try not to let these roll away. They like to escape from me. But this cucumber does, some people feel like it makes them go to the bathroom more quickly. I'm one of those people. I definitely notice a difference, but cucumber is known to be kind of like a detoxer. It starts to kind of empty you out. But it does just help to give your water a good flavor. So you could throw just the cucumber. Any of this is versatile in terms of if you want to flavor your water, what you want to flavor it with. I really do. I'm not a huge cucumber person in general, but I really do like it in my water. I feel like it gives a good flavor. So I've got a big pitcher of water here, and I'm just going to throw all of this stuff in it. Now, if you don't want it to be that strong, like I said, you could just take a couple of these, pour it in your glass with your water, and call it a day. All right, same thing here with our orange. It is best if we can kind of peel that rind. Actually, might be better with, because when we leave that on, it starts to really taste rindy. Doesn't have as good a flavor. So staying hydrated is a big one that we don't tend to do as well, trying to stay hydrated throughout the day. I am guilty of that as well, especially being pregnant. It's just, I'm supposed to drink even more water, and I'm like, oh, I'm struggling to get just enough. So some of these tips can help you, like flavoring your water or doing things like a club soda that just gives you some good flavor, but it'll help encourage you to drink more of it. The other thing that I like to do is I have a water bottle that has times on it. So it kind of sets little goals for the day. It'll have like a 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, 12, and then you refill it at one point in the day. And by the end of it, you have drank your 64 ounces. So definitely is a great way to help encourage you to drink water and remind you, hey, I haven't drank water in a while. And I'm gonna save one of these for our next drink. So if you're looking for something like that, they sell them. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them Walmart.com. I mean, all different kinds of places. You can buy a little water bottle that has times on it. Another thing that you could do that doesn't cost you any money is set an alarm on your phone. So if you have a fancy watch, sometimes it will tell you, you've been sitting for too long, it's time to stand up. Anytime it tells you to stand up, which is every hour, you could chug some water. Make that be your time to just drink a little bit of water. All right, almost got this one done. So it does take a little bit of extra work to cut off all of the rind, but I promise it makes a difference. So very pretty if you have a little get together. It makes your water just look a little bit more fancy. You could stir it up, keep it in your fridge, and of course, after a couple days, you want to dump out the fruit and do some fresh fruit. But there is our fancy water. So we will see you guys back in just 1 second to make our next drink.
Sampson Community College, career training that puts you to work. Our Academy of Continuing Excellence provides work training for adults with learning disabilities ages 18 and older. We assist students with intellectual challenges in reading, writing, math, and vocational skills. Our goal is to help make a smooth transition into secondary education or employment opportunities. Applicants to this program must be interviewed and pass an entrance exam to be considered. Sampson Community College. Begin here, go anywhere.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we are going to move on to our soda, and this is if you are just really craving something that has more flavor, really want something fizzy, this is a great option. Since I've been pregnant, this has been a great drink for me. It's been one of my go-tos for the holidays or any kind of little event where I'm with some friends. It just helps me feel like I'm fancy. So you do a little club soda, and a lot of times when I buy club soda, I'll just buy the seltzer in the can because it stays fresh for longer. When I buy it like this, unless you're going to be drinking a lot of club soda throughout the day, it can go flat more quickly. And once it goes flat, it's just not very good. So we're going to do about 2/3 club soda. And you could really do any juice. Our recipe is for a cranberry lime soda. So then you want to use some cranberry juice. If you're buying this, you want to make sure it's 100% juice. So this says no sugar added, 100% juice. You do not want to buy the kind that says cocktail. If you're buying cranberry cocktail, it's usually like 5% juice and mostly sugar, really, what they put in it. So to avoid that, that's not really going to help you if you're trying to avoid tea or soda or whatever for sugar purposes, if you're just drinking a juice that has sugar. So 100% juice is what we're looking for. And then we're going to throw our spritz of lime in there. And it's good. It's a really pretty fancy cocktail. You can take your spoon just to make sure it's all stirred up. And you're good to go. Very tasty. And it just looks pretty. So that is a simple club soda, like lime soda that you can do. Seltzers are a great option if you really enjoy doing any type of those seltzer waters. They have them in all different kinds of flavors. Personally, I'm not a big seltzer water person. It just doesn't do it for me. And sometimes drinking fizzy stuff all the time still makes me feel dehydrated, even if it's just fizzy water. So I usually will only, drink one of those here and there, and I drink mostly water. Or do like some lemon in your water, some lime. But those are really great ways to get some more water in your diet, stay hydrated, keep you hydrated throughout the day. Hydration is big. We don't realize how much being hydrated can impact how we feel. I get headaches a lot whenever I am not hydrated. Sometimes my stomach will hurt. So people don't realize that those things are all symptoms of not having enough water throughout your day. Okay, our next recipe, this is like a dessert that you could make. This is from our Med Instead of Meds website, and we have made this several times in my Med Instead of Meds program. That is a program focused on the Mediterranean diet, and really we talk all about nutrition, healthy eating, portion control, all of those other components outside of kind of what we talked about the last episode that are important for a healthy diet and for healthy living overall. So there's not necessarily one size fits all approach when it comes to eating, but in terms of just living a healthy lifestyle, watching our portions, being mindful of what we're eating, what we're putting in our body, how much we're moving, how much water we're drinking, all of those things can really play a role in helping us to be healthy overall. And that is what is sustainable. If we're constantly, you don't have to be constantly thinking about it, but if it is on your mind that you are, I'm gonna think before I eat such and such, or I'm gonna be mindful of how many M&Ms I'm gonna eat. Maybe I'll just eat 5 instead of eat a whole entire pack and then eat something else after. So keeping that kind of at the front of your mind and just paying more attention, having that awareness can make a big difference in kind of going through your healthy living journey. Okay, so I went ahead and made some of this. I just did half of it ahead of time so that I would be able to show you guys what it looks like. But this is very simple. I'm gonna make it on camera with you now. I just have a vanilla non-fat yogurt. You can use any type of yogurt that you like, that you enjoy. But this one, I did actually add some Greek yogurt to it. That helps to give it a little extra protein, but I get the flavor from the vanilla. This one also has some artificial sugars in there, artificial sweeteners, and it's just really sweet to me personally. So I cut it with a little bit of Greek yogurt, and that helps to up the protein and also to cut some of that sugar flavor. So the whole recipe calls for about 1 1/4 cups of yogurt. You don't necessarily have to. You can do half a pan just like I did to try it out first. But we want to spread that to be nice and thin. So try to get it as even as you can throughout. Looks pretty good. All right, and then you just throw on your toppings. So I have some frozen berries here. You can do any type of frozen fruit you like, or fresh fruit if you prefer to use fresh. We're gonna throw this all in the freezer anyways. I think all of my strawberries came out in the first batch. I'm also gonna add just a few nuts to this. So we've got some almond slivers here. I'm gonna sprinkle this. You know, you could even do half of it with almonds, half of it without. Whatever, you know, you and your family enjoy. You can add some coconut flakes to this. I'm not a huge coconut person, so I'm just gonna go a little light, but it does help to make it look really pretty. And then I did granola on the first half. I ran out of my granola, so we have some grape nuts that we had used for another recipe. I had it in my pantry. I'm just gonna sprinkle a few of those on. These don't have any sugar, but they help to give some crunch. So your whole point is to get a little crunch action with these. And there you go. When you're ready to eat it, you'll throw this in the freezer. Mine didn't even, it says 2 hours. Mine definitely did not take that long. I just throw it kind of open face in the freezer. And then you do want to let it kind of thaw just a little bit so you can cut it more easily. And, you know, you just cut it up and you've got your little squares, your yogurt bark, and it's delicious. So I'm going to throw this in the freezer. We'll see you guys back in just a second to finish up our chicken recipe.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our sweet potatoes and peppers all done. One thing I did quickly off camera, y'all didn't get to see this while we were on our break. I went ahead and took the chicken out. So our chicken, we don't want that to be overdone. I checked it to make sure it was at 165. And how I do that, I just take a thermometer and pierce several of the pieces of chicken. So I have like 3 or 4 pieces on my thermometer and read it that way. So it was well over 165. We were good. I went ahead and pulled that out and continued to roast the rest of my vegetables. I cooked it for a little bit longer. You only really want to cook it for 5 or 10 more minutes. But I like mine to be a little bit charred, to have a little bit of that, that charring that you see, that nice roasted flavor. So we're gonna pull all of this off. If I can do this without smushing my potatoes. Really your goal is to just have it until it is, the potatoes are easy to pierce with a fork. So, but up to you if you like a little bit more of that extra flavor you get from the roasting. I'm gonna put it all in this bowl and toss it. My recipe did say that I could just pour the glaze over the top, but so I took the chicken out already and my pan is looking a little sad, so we're just gonna pull this whole thing out and toss it. Now this would be really good. You could do it as it is. You could serve it with a salad, on top of a salad. You could eat it over rice, which is probably the way that I would eat it. We do a good bit of rice at my house just for meals, especially for something simple and easy like this. So it looks good. Now we've got our glaze here. The great thing about the recipes from this program, and why I've done several of them recently, is just they have such good flavor. So all of these, you're just, you know, it's not something that's really boring. Pretty much everything that you make, The marinade in this gives it a lot of flavor. The glaze on top gives it a lot of flavor. You've got the sweetness from the bell peppers that you have added and the sweetness from the sweet potatoes. So you've really just got a full flavor profile in this dish. And that is what helps to make our food just taste really good. When we want to eat better, we don't want to sacrifice flavor. I think a lot of people tend to get stuck on that you can't actually eat a healthy meal without it, with it tasting good. Those two don't go together. And that's just simply not true. And if you ever come to our classes, you can absolutely see that. You can taste that because we do hands-on cooking in our workshops as well. The last component I wanted to talk about has nothing to do with food. We've talked about hydration, we've talked about our portion sizes, mindfulness, but our last component is definitely moving more, being active. So we want to try to be more active throughout the day. And this could simply be you just walking a little bit more throughout your day, trying to set aside 10 or 15 minutes a couple times through your day to just get up and walk. You do not have to necessarily do all your exercise at once. I think that's what we really struggle with, is if we are going to exercise, we have to sit down and work out for 30 or minutes or an hour. We just don't always have that kind of time. But you might have 10 minutes throughout your day. Maybe you can do 30 minutes total and split that up into 3 10-minute segments. So any way that you can start to move more and get more of those steps in throughout the day, that is absolutely great for our health. It's great for our joints, great for our muscles, great for stress relieving. There's just so many benefits to being active. So I encourage you to make that part of your goals for the new year, whether it currently is or not. Just try to find ways to get up and move a little bit more frequently. We do have a workout class that's going on right now. It's actually an 8-week series, so we just started it last week, but we will finish up in March. Still not too late. If you want to hop in, you can hop in and join us. It is on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1. Just give our office a call and we will get you set up for coming to our class. It is very beginner focused. I'll be doing it. I'm definitely not in my best shape that I've ever been, so we will not be doing anything crazy, no big cardio moves or stuff like that, but it is going to be a great way to build up that strength. So hope you give us a call. Hope to see you there. And if not, I hope you guys have a great rest of your new year, and we will see you guys next time on At the Table.